about trying to handicap the presidential race. You can't legally bet on the outcome of the presidential elections here in the United States, but in other parts of the world, it is a big sport. It is huge business. And our next guest says gamblers bet more than $200 million on the website Betfair during the last U.S. presidential election. And he says wagering related to this 2016 presidential campaign could top $1 billion worldwide. Paul Krishnamurty is a gambling expert and political analyst who writes for Betfair, which calls itself the world's largest peer-to-peer betting site. He joins us now live with the details. Good to see you, Paul. Good morning.
Morning.
So if we were a betting person, the big question is who's putting the money on whom?
Well, the market very strongly points towards Hillary Clinton now. She's now 64% favourite, right, 64% likely to be the president, although it's still early days. Donald Trump is 77% favourite to win the Republican nomination. Though personally, I'm very sceptical about Trump.
Now, you successfully, and we should say, you place wagers where they're legal.
Yep.
You successfully bet on President Obama in the past.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take that as a little expertise that you have. Where do you see, where would you place your bets right now?
Right now, given that Trump is the favourite, it would be on Clinton. However, I think that if the Republicans were to pick Marco Rubio, I would be more tempted to bet Marco Rubio. But I don't think Donald Trump will be president, and I'm actually sceptical he'll be the nominee.
A lot of times with sporting events, it's not just the now, it's the trending as far as where the money is going, who's putting the money on whom. How have things been trending when it comes to this election?
So the big market has been the Republican nomination. Hillary Clinton has been favourite for the presidency throughout because she's seen as almost certain to be the Democrat nominee. But for the Republicans, it started off with Jeb Bush, who was heavy favourite. He fell away. Then it was Marco Rubio, and then ever since New Hampshire, Donald Trump's been the overwhelming favourite. However, personally, I think that's going to change.
So let's talk about this whole concept of betting on U.S. politics. First of all, where is this legal?
In the UK, it's a huge industry. The UK is kind of like the home of gambling, really. It's got the most sophisticated 24/7 gambling industry in the world. However, there's a lot of other countries where, most European countries, you can bet most things. You can open an account with Betfair. Australia, China, generally most countries, every country's got different laws.
So is the draw to bet on American politics, is it bragging rights, or people really just want to see this as a way to win money? I mean, if you're going to gamble real money, I'm assuming the bottom line is to try to win money, right?
Personally, I'm a professional gambler, and this is a very, very serious market for me. I will be devoting most of my attention over the whole year. I'm in America for most of the year, and in the last two cycles, I stayed up all night in the UK watching the coverage and watching the results coming in. So, yeah, to me, it's a very serious business. And, yeah, I think to most gamblers it is. I think that politics actually attract a different type of gambler.
What type does it attract?
The type of person that's actually interested in the politics, you know, and therefore thinks they can make a strong prediction, because this isn't like the real world. This isn't, you know, sport. This isn't random. You're not going to be undone by a bit of bad luck because your team hits the crossbar, right? This is real world, real predictions, judging the mood of a country, the mood of society, the strength of candidates.
Yet if you bet on sports, it's a definitive event. The sporting event happens tonight. Tomorrow you either lose your money or you cash in. As far as politics now, is it just literally election day is the payout?
Well, kind of. That's when the market is settled. But the thing about a site like Betfair and betting exchanges is the odds move 24/7 in real time. So I make my money through predicting the trajectory of a candidate. So, for example, I've already made some money on Ted Cruz because I bet Ted Cruz when he was an outsider, when he was just a 3% chance for a nomination. And when he came right in, he went to 17%. I cashed in some of that position. I also made some money selling Jeb Bush.
So in a way, it's for people who are into sports, it's almost like it's fantasy politics. Like you might have your fantasy football or your fantasy other sports, because it's not just the final result, that it's how the entire campaign orchestrates and what happens throughout the campaign.
Absolutely. And, you know, it can really just change during a debate. So if you take the recent debate when Marco Rubio froze on stage, as it were, he started off before that night 60% favourite to win the Republican nominee.
So those who were betting on Marco Rubio at that moment were like, it was like somebody missed a three-pointer at the end of the game. They
Absolutely.
were just like, oh, okay,
yeah.
there we go. We just lost it right there.
But the shrewd gamblers saw that happen, and they sold him immediately.
It is
and
amazing.
within minutes, he'd collapsed to 50% from 60.
Amazing.
40 the next day.
That much money changes hands when it comes to politics, and like you said, real-world situation. Real quick, we talk about it when the Super Bowl comes around. There are prop bets on the Super Bowl, many, many different things that could happen. Are there prop bets in politics?
Countless. So
Such as?
The vice presidential candidates, the electoral college, the distribution of votes, each state, each primary. Sometimes you've got a handicap on the primary, so it would be like, you know, Donald Trump minus 12.5% or something, just to even it up. Gender of the next president, winning party. Countless.
Plenty of options out there. For those of you who may be saying, okay, so you can't do this legally here in this country, why are we devoting this much time to it? You also, through your website, because you are this invested in it, you're blogging a lot. You're blogging for other political publications because you're just that invested in the race itself. So folks can find a lot of that information just on the candidates and the parties. Where do they find that? What's your website?
So my website is politicalgambler.com. I update that most days. I'll be blogging later about the Fox debate tonight. And tomorrow, and the effect.
Who do you see winning the Fox debate tonight?
Anyone but Trump. I think they're going to go after Trump, the other three of them. I think Ted Cruz has fared very well in the debate so far, and I think that his approach to Trump, which is to take him on substance and to take on like a lawyer would, rather than engaging in the personal attacks, I think that will pay off in the end.
It's interesting. It's fascinating. Thanks for joining us today.